We're joined by one of the stars of that film, Mike Bonanno, member of the Yes Men. And Mike, it is a pleasure to meet you. Before we get into sort of some of the different pranks and the different things you guys are up to in the movie, in the simplest terms possible, what is your intention? Are you just trying to get on TV? Are you guys trying to get publicity? What's the point here?
Well, we tell little lies in order to get at big truths, and the idea is to actually reveal the real hoaxsters here. Because these large corporations, groups like the Chamber of Commerce, are pulling the wool over their eyes. And while they distract us, they're basically stealing our money.
Yeah, I guess one distinction that I want to make is I know a number of large corporations that do not engage in government manipulation as a way to make money. In other words, Apple, for instance, removed itself from the Chamber of Commerce. Nike withdrew itself from the Chamber of Commerce because they largely agree with some of the things you were protesting. Is it unfair to indict large corporations across the board as being inherently evil, when the reality is, yes, being a large corporation allows some of them, we've seen it with the banks, we see it with the insurance companies, to completely manipulate our government for their own enrichment. But on the other hand, there are other large associations we see in the technology universe and elsewhere that are actually very creative. In other words, I know I'm splitting hairs, but I hate to demonize just big companies when being a big company is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, there's no question that some companies are better than others. And groups like Mohawk Paper left the Chamber of Commerce yesterday because of the Commerce's stand on climate change.
Right.
So, I can applaud that. But at the same time, we also have to look at the basic DNA of corporations and say, if the only incentive for a corporation is profit and growth, then we're necessarily going to have some, answers to questions that are not morally or ethically in line with our principles.
I disagree with you.
Oh, you do?
I think that the government's job is to set rules of the road for competition. And then if you allow the profit motive inside of the corporation, large or small, to function with strict rules, exchanges, penalties, etc., that those greedy profit, if the only way I can get rich is by making something that helps you, that is rules-based capitalism. And that's a corporation that's well-directed. That's Apple making the iPhone. That is a cure for cancer. That's Amgen developing biotechnology. I mean, there are companies that are actually trying to do things that help people that also in the process will make them money. And there are other businesses that can't make money anymore, so they simply manipulate the government to come up with parlor games. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but unless that basic bottom line changes. Let me give you an example. Yeah. We impersonated Dow Chemical on the BBC, and Dow's trying to do some good things, but they're a big chemical company, so they're making lots of blunders along the way. And we impersonated them, went on the BBC, and announced that they were going to finally compensate the victims in Bhopal. Now, everybody agrees this is a good thing to do, and yet what happened is their stock price just immediately plummeted. So what we learned there is that basically if a company does the right thing, they can get punished for it. And we need to change that. We need to bring the laws, exactly the rules that govern them, in line with our moral and ethical sensibility.
And so my issue is to demonize all business and all corporation when most of us work for a business or a corporation. You are part of a business right now that's called the Yes Men. We're going to go after you. Okay? I got you. But my point is that it's the rules of business that are at issue, not business.
I agree. And there's lots of good people in business trying to do good things, and they need to be rewarded, and the people who are doing the bad things need to be punished.
Punished severely. And to the extent to which your pranks are able to reveal those who are cheating us, using the government to do business instead of doing business by actually creating value for others, I thank you for those efforts.
Thank you very much. That's what we're trying to do.
Good. Mike Bonanno, one of the Yes Men, again, what's the movie going to be called?
It's The Yes Men Fix the World. And you can see where it's playing at theyesmenfixtheworld.com.
Low expectations. I like that. We have the same principle here.